right, we are live. Let me get chat pulled up on my phone. So, you may have noticed, but I got a new thumbnail for the journaling, so it matches the trading live one. At least, kind of matches. But I think it looks pretty nice. So, pretty happy about that. Oh, let's go! I got 382 subs. That's sick. So, if you're new to the journaling live streams, essentially what I do is every single day after the day's done, you get 23 hours of price action to go backtest and go figure out exactly what happened. You are given that for free. Take advantage of it. And so that's essentially what I'm going to be doing. And I advise you that if you want to get better, one thing you can do is not only watch my market recaps every day, but also you can watch these journaling live streams. And I'm going to do these every single day. Probably indefinitely, so I mean, for who knows how long. So take this to your advantage. Like, I mean, let's say you check out of trading for the next 2 months and then come back. I'm probably still going to be doing these journaling live streams, and you can go back and backtest every single day. You don't have to buy Forex Replay. You can just watch me. You can just I'll do all the work for you. I'll be backtesting everything. And so I think that if I had someone like that, that would have been nice. But you know what? I will be that person. So, with all of that in mind, let's take a look at the charts today and talk about every little detail. This is going to be fun. So, let's close out of this. And actually, I kind of wanted to keep that. Yeah, I kind of did want to keep that. So, we got the leap coming up. I don't know, but man, it would be like one day my goal, like I think it'd be the coolest thing ever would be to win the leap. I think that would be so cool. And it probably wouldn't happen for a long time, but like one day, like being able to win the leap would be crazy. Anyway, yeah, here we go. We got NQ pulled up, and so if you don't know, we had this giant bearish S&T, which was a big reason for the dump that you saw overnight. But then we had a bullish SMT, and I'll get into that in a second. What do I want to do here? Oh, I wanted to switch this to NQ. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to use my other screen to do this analysis because it's bigger and I like it better. And it's not that serious. So just going to use, I'm going to use this screen. And let's just look at every little detail about the day. So on the higher time frame going into the day, I mean, we had these two giant bearish S&Ts. What else was I going to say? I was going to say something else. Oh, I'll review my trade in a second, but I want to talk about the higher time frame first, going into the day, what I was thinking, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to pull up S&P right over on this chart. And actually, I'll get YM up as well, just in case. But we had two S&Ts where we have S&T here, S&T here, and then what happens after that? Giant dump. And then if you go in the lower time frame, we get another S&T here. So that's pretty crazy. Here's that other S&T. We got that right there. And then remember, we had all of those regular trading hours gaps below. Now, since we're looking at specifically what happened today with today's price action, I'm going to turn on the daily candle and we're just going to take a look at everything. So, boom, let's offset it by 0. And let's turn that on. So, let's talk about the daily profile. I never actually did anything covering the daily profile today, and that's something that I'm going to do better at. But I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to do a daily profile recap at the end of in my journaling and live stream back testing session. I think that's a good idea. Okay. So, daily profile, in my opinion, was New York reversal because we pushed into a key level it was this rejection block here. And going down to the lower time frame, you can see that we got a reaction off this level. We end up getting SMT here with this low. So NAS makes a lower low, S&P makes a higher low. So there's SMT. And as well, we end up sweeping out a old previous week's low. So I think it was, a previous day's low. Yeah, this low right here. So essentially, everyone that had been holding in here got stopped out. So the market was like, okay, well, we basically stopped everyone out. So in the short term, let's take out short sellers. So let's do that. And then it went back up, right? So yeah, we take out previous day's low into this rejection block. We get SMT. So let's put this in the daily profile chat. Actually, maybe let's just hold off on this. Make sure we actually know for sure what daily profile is. But that's something I'm going to add into my notes for the day. Every single day I'm going to recap daily profile while journaling. Post in daily profile channel. Okay. So yeah, we sweep out previous day's low, or a previous day's low, and then we end up getting a 15-minute CISD after we get this SMT, and we push into this rejection block. Now at this time, we had equal highs above. So possibly, if you wanted to, you could have taken this as a 15-minute trade up to those equal highs because you had previous day's low, a rejection block, and SMT. But I just framed this as a buy model. I personally, there's no internal sweep, so I personally would not have taken that probably, but I'm just noting it. Yeah, we did end up having this be a buy model. And yeah, we had these equal highs. Actually, I want to do, what do I want to do here? So, why is this red? It's kind of annoying. I don't like that it's red. Okay. What did I want to do? I'll do daily profile later. Oh, YM. I wanted to check YM for SMTs as well. So, going back on the chart for YM. Alright. So, after we got this 15-minute CASD, we ended up getting quite a few SMTs. I think we got, was it here? Yeah, here we get, no, here. So we get SMT with YM at this 15-minute CASD right here. So that was the first SMT. Then we get another SMT with the S&P 500 after this. I believe it was with this low, or was it this low? Hang on just a second. Okay, it was with this low. So this one was the one that was really nice. Was this one right here. So we just kept getting these bullish SMTs going up towards these equal highs, and I was like, okay, this is like pretty sweet. You can see this 15-minute CISD supported price very well. Now, I probably would not have taken this trade as a 15-minute CISD trade just because we had no internal structure, internal sweep, or anything like that. But theoretically, if you took this would have won. Just targeting the equal highs, this would have been a 1-to-1 or 1.3 to 1. But personally, with these kinds of trades, I like to take lower time frame entries. So if I was to take this, I would be looking within here. I would be looking within here, this area right here, for a lower time frame entry. So this happened at 7. That's 5 a.m. my time. This is right when I get on the charts. And we'll look at price action up here too in just a sec. But let's zoom in on this area here. So delivering from this 15-minute CISD, we actually get, we actually get a really nice inversion, I think. Or was the inversion over there? So just kidding, the inversion was right here. So yeah, I don't know if there was an inversion right here. And like this is one of those situations, like same situation with up here where I wanted to get an entry once we close above an order block. But once we close above, you can see we already take out all this liquidity here. So there was no, I hope that makes sense. That was kind of a confusing way to say it. But typically, like, I like to enter, like, sometimes I'll enter when we get a close above old breaker block. So, for instance, here, maybe this breaker block, maybe I see that we close above it. So it's basically a change of state delivery. Maybe I see we close above it, and I enter on the close above that breaker, right? That's a way to enter, is you wait for a close above a breaker, and then you enter. Now, if I don't get an inversion, I typically will do that. But in this case, we had an inversion, and so that was really nice, and I ended up getting this trade for a 1-to-1. This was really nice, actually. And I will journal that in a second. We were delivering from a new week opening gap, which was also really, really nice. But sweet, we got 4 people watching. What's up, guys? So this is the ultimate way to study. I'm going to be doing these every single day, and feel free to watch as many of them as you want. I'm going to start making this a very, very routine habit where I do this every single day, and you can watch these on double speed when you have time, and I'll be journaling the market for you. You just go watch these when you have time, and then if you want the faster, quicker recap, you can watch the market recap, and I'll cover everything in more detail there. But essentially, this is where I'm preparing for the market recap, and I'm just looking at everything. What I'm talking about right now is essentially this became a New York reversal day. I mean, I don't know. You could argue that it wasn't like totally a New York reversal day because we didn't quite come up and take out Asia, but we did come up to take out London. So yeah, you can see this did end up getting hit. This was a really nice draw on liquidity. I honestly didn't really necessarily think we were going to go to London, but I kept it as a possibility, and you can see we did end up going to London. So yeah, let's see. So what trades could we have taken within here? Like, let's say I was on the charts at 4:30 a.m. my time. I probably would not have been, but If I was, right, what trades could you take? One possibility is we had such good liquidity up here. See all these highs? Like, this was, in the short term, the market was going to want to come to this consolidation, right? This was where the market was wanting to go. So the nice thing about this is not only are you retesting a 15-minute CASD, but you're also retesting a breaker, so a series of up-close candles, and a fair value gap. So let me show you that real quick. You can mark this out on any time frame you want. This was all 5-minute one, so 5-minute fair value gap, 5-minute breaker, 3-minute series of up-close candles, 3-minute fair value gap. I think it makes most sense on the 3-minute, so I'll mark this out on the 3-minute. So breaker, fair value gap right here, and you can see it has good signature and price to it because we come out, sweep out this low, and then quickly close above. That's exactly what you want to see. So really good signature and price with this breaker here. And so breaker being these up close candles, and the fair value gap being this gap here. And so after we get that change in state of delivery, you can say, okay, market probably wants to go to, I think it was these equal highs. We had equal highs. Where were the relatively equal highs? Because I don't see them right off the bat. I think they were right here. Yeah. So the equal highs were right here. And this is where the market was drawing to. I was saying this for a while, that like the market did want to come here. And so theoretically, if you were on the charts this early and you wanted a high RR trade, maybe you could have taken this. But realistically, I was waiting for us to get an entry here where we have A, accumulation, and then manipulation into this breaker and fair value gap, right? You see this? So that highest up close candle. So we ended up getting exactly that, and I mapped this out on stream. I said, all right, this is a nice breaker and a nice fair value gap. And I was what I was looking for is I was looking for like a low time frame inversion off of this, and you can see we didn't really get that. I mean, we kind of, I guess you could say we kind of had an inversion here, but I was looking for something a little bit more lipo than that. And so unfortunately I did not get in on this move, even though I knew that we were going to go run this liquidity and then run these equal highs. I knew we were going to go run up all the way through here, and it was just unfortunate that I couldn't get in on that. But I'll just keep getting better. One possibility is maybe what you could have done is you could have, once you saw us react off this breaker and for value gap, maybe you could have entered on this 30-second change state delivery. It's a possibility. I'm not saying I for sure, if I were to redo this, I would do that. But it's just worth noting how if you just get lower time frame CISDs sometimes, and you don't have an obvious gap to inverse, like here, like I get that I was wanting a gap to inverse, but what gap is going to inverse? There was not one. There wasn't a gap that even could have been inversed. So entering on a low time frame CISD off the breaker block honestly kind of makes more sense than trying to wait for an inversion, because what inversion are you going to get? I think what I wanted to see was I wanted to see a move lower, and then I wanted to see this inversion, and I wanted to see this. So I'm not mad that I didn't take anything. I think it was fine. I really do. But it does suck that I didn't get any entry, and that's even though I predicted this entire thing. And you could also maybe just enter right at the breaker and for value gap, but like it's just not really my style, because I don't know, I like getting low time frame confirmation. So I'm not sure what you do here. So one of you guys should let me know what you guys would have done, but um, yeah, once we started delivering to the upside, I knew we were gonna go run those equal highs. And then you can also clearly measure this out here, and at this point you could determine, okay, we're going to the 2 to 2.5 standard deviation, and then we go up to London. So measured out from here, we get a pretty good idea of where we wanted to go. It was London's highs. So not exactly sure. And obviously there was this inversion. This was really nice. And had I been on the charts and seen this, I would have loved to take that, but it was also before my time I allowed myself to trade, so because of that I probably wouldn't have. And I guess maybe you could take this too, but it's not light bulb. I probably wouldn't take it. But this one on the 1 minute was actually pretty light bulb, and I think this one would have been good. But I genuinely couldn't really take it because I'm trying to think of, I have to wait an hour and 20 minutes after I get on the charts before I can take a trade, and the earliest I ever get on the charts is 7. So I'm not going to be ready to take a trade by 8. Earliest that you can take a trade is like 8:20, and you can see we were in a consolidation by that time. So then this was the trade that I wanted to get, and I knew we were going to react off this breaker and for value gap. I think the easiest thing to do here was just enter on a 30-second change state delivery off of this breaker for value gap, and if it were to stop you out, so be it, but then you would at least get an entry. You could have also entered on this 15-second momentum candle, which is also a 15-second change state delivery. So lots of different possibilities, and you can see we go run right up to those equal highs. So yeah, lots of different possibilities. We get that 15-second momentum candle, close above this breaker. At that point, it became clear, okay, the market's ready. I was considering, like, also, you could have entered on, let's say, on the 1 minute, we get a close above this old break, or no, it was this old breaker on the 1 minute. I was thinking you could maybe enter on a close above this. So enter right here. But I mean, this would really only be a 1-to-1. Not saying that that's bad, but whoops. Like that's fine. A 1-to-1's fine. It's just I don't know. I like for this kind of a trade I wanted more than a 1-to-1, honestly. But yeah, I honestly think this trade would have been fine where we close above this breaker here on the 1 minute, this series of up close candles. So I would mark it out like this, where we close above this breaker, and so that would be my entry, and then enter there, targeting the equal highs. And once again, I could have also done the 30-second one off of delivering off of the other breaker for value gap, because there was no fair value gap to inverse. We did not have a fair value gap to inverse. All we had was an old breaker and really good liquidity. So once this up close candle is closed above, I know, okay, we're definitely gonna go run that. I mean, maybe not definitely. Like, I could have seen this coming back and sweeping this low, even digging deeper into this breaker for value gap. But if you wanted to, you could have taken this because it had good RR. So if you're into that kind of a trade, on the 30-second close above, after delivering, key thing here is we're delivering from somewhere. We're delivering from that breaker for value gap over here. And we're going into 9:30. And then, of course, once we get this moment, you can even wait till we get the momentum candle. and then maybe you enter on the 30-second momentum candle. Lots of different ways you could frame this idea, but it all comes back to the same logic of we were going to deliver to these equal highs on market open. And so yeah, you could have maybe entered this. But I don't think there was anything light bulb enough for me to say if I were to do this again, I would take anything. I think what I did was fine. Not taking any trades was fine. You don't need to catch every move. But if you had to, for your life to catch a trade, those are 3 different ways you could have. I'm just personally, since it was nothing light bulb, I would not have taken anything. But if I had to for my life, I'd probably take this 1 minute close above the this old breaker here, and then target those equal highs. That if I had to, but luckily you don't have to do that. So I didn't take any trade. But then we ended up getting later on this really, really beautiful inversion delivering from this new week opening gap. And so I will be, I will be journaling this one. Where are the new week opening gaps? Wait a second. Where's the new week opening gap? Was there not a new week opening gap? Oh, it was a new day opening gap? Guess it was a new day opening gap. Never mind. So yeah, we end up getting it delivering from this new day opening gap. It's not a new week opening gap apparently. So here's this new day opening gap. And we were within this higher time frame buy model, right? We had SMT right here. And if you measure out standard deviations of, let's say, this 5-minute move lower, it seemed like the market was drawing to these relatively equal highs as well. So this was the whole concept of the trade, was we had the 4 to 4.5 of this manipulation. So this was the relatively equal highs. And once again, we're within this higher time frame buy model, sponsored by the rejection block, where we push into the daily rejection block with SMT, and then yeah, we just had a consolidation that I thought we were going to go to. So the 4 to 4.5, boom. I hope I'm making sense right now, but basically, I mean, you could have argued that we were going to keep going lower, but as in the short term, structure was bullish, delivery was bullish, everything was bullish. So I looked up. And saw what draws do we have to the upside? We have this consolidation. We have these relatively equal highs. So that's essentially what I was looking at. And anyway, on the lower time frame, let's see if we got any SMT or anything like that. Yeah, we literally did get SMT, I think. Yeah, we had SMT, which made this awesome. This made this awesome, right? We have SMT here. And then we had these relatively equal highs. Just really good liquidity above the 4 to 4.5. And then we had the macro, the Hydra macro, the 1020 to 1040 macro. And we had just an inversion in 3 candles. It was just 1, 2, 3. Note how like all of the bodies were swept, so there was no more liquidity below really, and we get this really nice inversion. So I entered on the close above. Actually, what I did is I waited. I entered a little delayed because I was like, I wanted to see like some convincing follow through. If it started to dump right after, I wasn't gonna enter. But then it started to move like started to just push higher, and I was like, okay. Then I entered, and so I entered right here, like right here, stop loss, right there, and then just targeting 1 to 1. So stop loss at the low of the old candle here, and then yeah, I targeted 1 to 1. I'm curious. Yeah, we went right to the session distribution level. It made it like kind of annoying, but four-hour stat map. Yeah, I don't know what else to put on here to make this trade look better other than, yeah. I think this trade was good though. So yeah, we're delivering from this new day opening gap. We get an IPG in the macro, swooping out this low, and we have a clear consolidation. So this was the trade of the day, 1 to 1 risk reward. Is there any other confluences that I missed? We were within a higher time frame buy model. Yeah, I liked this trade a lot. I think it was good. So actually, let's just zoom in and then screenshot it here. Just simple 1 to 1. Really, really nice here. All right, let's put this as trade of the day. Let's post this on Twitter. Let's see what Amos said. Yeah, everyone loses, man. It's just part of trading. So yeah, let's post this. Trade of the day. What time was this at? 10:21. Trade of the day. is how I normally do it. Three-minute IPG, RR121, delivering from oh, that's not it. That's not the right image. I gotta re-screenshot it. Whoops. Alright, that looks good. Let's post it. Bet. Okay. Let's talk about daily profile and let's post whatever we saw. And then I'll probably do high time frame analysis because I need to do some of that. And then I guess we should also look at what happened over here. Let's briefly look at what happened. So remember we got these two SMTs, and then if you measure our standard deviations of this, yeah. The market just really liked this liquidity, I guess. So we went and we took out all of this. Just so much liquidity here. So boom, right through it all. And yeah, you could also measure it out like this, but what was this? Previous day's low? No, it wasn't even previous day's low. What was this? Was this New York AM's lows from a different day? This was like some kind of, this was New York AM's lows aligned with the 4 to 4.5. So yeah, there's not anything crazy about that other than, I mean, Well, maybe there is. Yeah, we also had swept out previous day's high. I think let's start out by marking out the daily profile. I think let's start there. What actually happened for the daily profile, and then yeah. Oh, look at this too. The daily distribution level was also right at AM's lows. So if you were trading Asia, that'd be a nice confluence that this was where the market was drawing to. But I'm not. But yeah. So let's just mark out the daily profile and what happened for that, because I never actually recorded that. I lose like 1 psychology point for that, but whatever, that's fine. So just gonna get rid of all this stuff and let's talk about the daily profile. So let's get rid of this trade. So I'm gonna pull up my daily profiling channel and yeah, daily profile, January 27th, 2025, recap. So first let's look at all the daily profiles and let's figure out what ones it wasn't. My guess is it was New York reversal, but it was such a weird New York reversal. It wasn't your typical like, oh, just casual go down into a key level. Like, we had a giant overnight expansion, so it definitely wasn't a typical New York reversal, but clearly it was a New York reversal because we reverse going into New York, right? And we reverse at this rejection block. Unless, did you guys see any other key levels that were different? Like, I wonder. Oh, we should check for other key levels. Oh, yeah. Check this out. You could definitely make the case that the new week opening gap here was also a key level that we pushed into during New York. You can definitely make that case. So not only do we push into a rejection block, we push into this new week opening gap. And let's get rid of that now. Let's get rid of that. That's not that helpful. And as far as stat map goes, let's take a look at this. I wonder if we went to maybe like the weekly distribution or something. Oh my gosh. We're already past the max extension on the week. That's actually absurd. That's actually crazy. Okay. So yeah, the candle bodies clearly respect this new week opening gap. I'll mark this out more later. So if I had to pick one, it'd probably be New York reversal. But once again, like, it was not a typical New York reversal. And I mean, if you, let's see. Yeah, it was not your typical New York reversal, but it was a New York reversal. Because we reverse, typically with New York reversal, what time do you reverse? You reverse typically it's like in the middle of New York. This was before New York really even started. But you know what? It's fine. Let's just mark it out. what should I say? Last night, I'll say last night we had aggressive expand over. Oh no, I'll say overnight we had downside. This already made this not a typical with that Okay. We're pretty good on daily profile. We could do high time frame analysis. We could do, because I need to do high time frame analysis for tonight. I need to do, shoot, what else do I need to do? Weekly profiling. Oh, that's gonna be interesting. We got to figure out this week's weekly profile still. And what do you guys think? What should we do? I guess. Actually, I want to take a look at this real quick from overnight. What actually happened, right? Because we had a lot of stuff happen in Asia that we can cover. So let's take a look at it. So we ended up getting S&T. The obvious manipulation was this little guy here. And once again, the 4 to 4.5 lined up with AM's lows here. So boom. 4 to 4.5 lined up there. And then yeah, we get SMT. And so overnight in Asia, there wasn't really anything crazy you could take, but we clearly were expanding lower, and maybe you could take let's see. I would say maybe you could take like this down close candle and this value gap down to AM's lows, but not anything crazy that I would take. Actually, we do get an inversion down to AM's lows here. Check this out. We have AM's lows. We have the daily distribution level on stat map. Right here. And then, yeah, this is where we wanted to come, clearly. And this all happened during Asia, I'm pretty sure. Like, literally, right as Asia started, which is crazy. So, yeah, the main idea here is if I go all the way on this other side of the curve here, this is a breaker block. I mean, it's kind of a iffy breaker block because it's so far away, but I would still classify it as a breaker block, especially once we close below it. I mean, I could be wrong. Let's just look at this real quick. Nope, I'm right. See, told you. Once we close below it, that validates this as a breaker, and it's overlapping with a fair value gap here. So we have this on the 5 minute, and then on the low time frame, we have 4 to 4.5 here, AM's lows, the daily distribution level, and we inverse this 5 minute. You could take that, or you could have taken this 3 minute inversion. Let's see what else we had. A 2 minute maybe. Not so clear on the 2 minute. What about 1 minute? I think you would just go for the 5 minute inversion here. I would just go for the 5 minute, even though it's a tiny little inverse for value gap. It's probably the best one to use. So I would just go off of this, and then off of this inversion, delivering from the breaker and for value gap, and then sell on the candle body close, and we're delivering from that breaker for value gap. Here, since, I don't know, I'd probably be conservative. I'd probably stop at the high instead of high of the candle. And then you get 1.84 to 1. Really nice. So, now you could obviously have your stop a little higher or lower if you wanted to, but just personal preference, I guess. In this situation, I think maybe you'd go stop at the high. But yeah. And then we get another breaker for value gap right after this. Check this out. We get another breaker, this down close candle. So breaker, and then for value gap. So this is I'm trying to like figure out how to explain why this is a breaker block, because this is an order block, right? So on the other side of an order block is a breaker block. So breaker block, order block, fair value gap. Then there's a fair value gap here. So once again, we have this, and you could just enter on this inversion if you wanted to, and then we got all these lower resistance lows, and the market just wanted to go lower at this point. It was aggressively expanding to the downside. And so we inverse this for value gap, and the rest is history. We end up continuing lower quite a ways. You see, like, this would have been like 1,000,000 to 1 RR here. This would have been like 20 to 1. So just proof you know what you're doing. You can, yeah, you can make a lot of money. But yeah, like I said, this down close candle overlapped with this fair value gap. This was a sensitive spot, and we were already delivering so aggressively, the market could not help but going down to, what was this? Previous day's low, Asia's low. This was previous day's low, and also previous week's low. So in the short term, previous week's low was definitely a draw on liquidity. Now, maybe I should start trading Asia, guys. I don't know. It's like Asia's been so good lately. Maybe I should stop limiting myself and only allowing myself to trade New York. But I don't know. There's not any rush to be profitable. I mean, well, like obviously I want to be profitable as soon as possible, but if I try and force trades in Asia when they're not there, it's just gonna set me back. So I might just stick with New York for now. One day, maybe I'll start trading Asia. But yeah, you can see that this previous week's low ended up becoming the draw on liquidity at this point, and then we expand lower towards that draw on liquidity, delivering from this breaker and fair value gap. So yeah, pretty cool. And then yeah, this is a pretty clear draw on liquidity. Now let's say you took this inversion. Why would this not work? Well, we didn't even actually inverse this all the way. Like, the candle body did not close. But I'm guessing there's an external gap here. See, yeah, once again, is this an inversion, or is this candle body respecting this gap? This candle body is respecting it. It might look like it's inversing it, but it's not, right? But then all of a sudden, once we get a close below here, this candle body close below, and we have a fair value gap, all of a sudden, what is this? This is a breaker, and this is a fair value gap. And so the market comes back into this area, and we go lower. Boom. All the way down to previous week's low. So crazy. And then also we had this inversion. So boom. I think we've about covered everything for today, to be honest. I don't really think there's much else. I guess let's just go look. Let's go look and see if we missed anything else. Oh, there was this inversion to the downside. I think FA and Jan took this. Now, this is nice because I'm trying to think. Like, all of this is liquidity. this is all consolidation. So this inversion targeting this low, I like that. I like that a lot. I think they're onto something with that. I don't know about targeting past that personally. I think just shooting for this low would be max I would go for. But yeah, you could probably take this inversion down to this low if you really wanted to. After sweeping London's highs, sure. But I don't know. It's not something that I would like. I would maybe take it, but I wouldn't love it either, because once again, we're still in this buy model. Who knows? We might want to end up, in this case, we might want to end up going up to run all this liquidity as well, and then Asia's highs, and I didn't want to mess with that. So, but yeah, maybe you could have taken this for a 1-to-1 if you wanted to, and target the lows of this consolidation. So, and then. And as well, you had a CRT, so that could have been a confirmation for you, and then you could have targeted the CRT low here. So CRT low, and then a CRT high here. So, we should probably do high time frame analysis, and then I don't even know what else we need to do. High time frame analysis, weekly profiling. Let's do both of those, and then we'll call it. So I want to look at RTH gaps real quick. We left this giant RTH gap here, but we also still have this unfilled one from below. I guess, did we come fill this or not? We probably did, actually. So we left this RTH gap below. So now at this point, we have this RTH gap above. So market might want to come here. But once again, we still have so much liquidity below. I'm just waiting for the day that we come back to it. But in the short term now, we got this RTH gap. So we'll see. I think maybe we come back up a little bit more and and then we dump again. I don't know. That it's possible. It is possible. Yeah, I kind of think that's what I'm leaning towards right now. We have this giant RTH gap. I can see it getting filled, coming up to this new day opening gap, and then maybe we get rejected by this breaker block here, or maybe we need to come up, sweep these highs into this gap again, and we keep this SMT or something. That's possible, honestly. Man, that would be crazy if we come up and then sweep all these highs and then hit previous week's high, because that previous week's high never got hit, remember that? And then imagine we finally come down to go run all this liquidity. But the fact we left this RTH gap above is like, okay, what are we doing? So if I measure out standard deviations of the final move down, the most obvious one is clearly this right here. So measured from the low to here. 2 to 2.5s lining up with these highs. These are, I mean, yeah, this is probably a pretty good liquidity pool, right? We have all of these candle bodies here. I mean, these guys might need to get stopped out, right? And so possibly we come up here. Maybe we need to come up and sweep this high, but honestly, I could just see us coming up, taking this out, because once again, what's up here? This is previous week's high. So maybe we just need to come up to previous week's high. And look at that. 2 to 2.5 lines up right above previous week's high. So I think right now I'm going to lean towards midweek reversal, with possibly tomorrow we expand. Let's take a look at the economic calendar. Yeah, we got a pretty clear consolidation up here. I think It's possible we want to come take this out. And then maybe we'll keep this SMT. That would make sense as well. We keep this SMT, sweep out previous week's high, hitting this 2 to 2.5 standard deviation. And then let's take a look at the final move down. Let's get a little bit further into the fun. And yeah, you can see very similar story where the 4 to 4.5 perfectly lines up with the 2 to 2.5. This seems to me like really nice, honestly. So in the short term, I do see us drawing up here, possibly. Yeah, that's probably gonna be my bias going into tomorrow, but that could change, and yeah. And we got the 2 to 2.5 of this up here. And now what's up here? I think there's Asia's highs. Yep, we have Asia's highs here. I think this will be a drawn liquidity going into tomorrow. It might get hit overnight, but you know what, whatever. And Asia, and then previous week's high, and then yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. We got that SMT, so now we probably gonna come take out the opposing SMT, right? Okay, oh, look at that. Asia's overlapped perfectly with the midpoint of the RTH gap. That's crazy. So, this is kind of what I'm thinking right now. We need to come possibly fill this RTH gap, take out previous week's high, turn this into a buy model before maybe having it turn into a sell model or something. Remember, we had SMT here. Okay, let's put this in high time frame analysis. I might take this screenshot again because I want to do I want to show it. I just want it to be clean, right? And it just doesn't feel clean. Here we go. I think this could make sense, right? Because why did we leave previous week's high untapped? And why does the 4 to 4.5 and the 2 to 2.5 of the final move down line up above previous week's high? And why do we have an RTH gap above? And why do we have an SMT? Like, I wanted to be bearish, but there's just a lot of liquidity above here. The market might want to go take that out. So we're just going to screenshot this real quick and bring out this idea on the table in high time frame analysis. Now, I should probably fix this so it looks more like correct. Okay. What was the other thing I was going to ask? So why do we leave RTH gap above? Why do we get this giant bullish SMT? And I mean, what else? I think that covers most of my questions. So yeah, right now I'm considering all possibilities. We'll reevaluate. Yeah. So right now, as far as weekly profile goes, let's talk about it, right? So, as far as weekly profile goes, this week, let's pull up news this week. Whoops, that's not what I want. Okay, so later on this week, we have consumer confidence, we have federal funds rate, advanced GDP, core PCE price index. So, man, a lot of news with how much of a move we've already had in one day. It really could be possible that we end up coming up before coming all the way back lower. But like, I do think we're gonna come to this low resistance liquidity. I'm just like, why did we leave previous week's high untapped? Why did we leave equal highs? These are all questions that I want answered, right? And I think if the market's going to be as tricky as it wants to be, it might need to go up and take out this previous week's high. I mean, you'll know we already inversed a fair value gap right now. We inversed this 2-hour fair value gap, and now we have this BPR here, and we filled this RTH gap. So it kind of seems like the market will possibly go up here past this. Yeah, to be determined. Yeah, I think well, you could argue maybe we get expansion up, but I don't know. All I really see right now is like a move higher, and then like I don't know, once we hit this 2 to 2.5, are we gonna go lower from that point? Are we gonna go higher? Maybe what I'll do is I'll list both possibilities, because I'm not really sure right now, right? Like, I think this could end up being a buy model, but then like after this, are we going to go higher or lower? Seems like seems kind of tricky. So on one hand we could go higher. On one hand we go higher. On one hand we go lower. I don't know. I think this is what I'll leave the weekly profile at, because I legitimately just don't know right now. If we're going to go higher or lower from there? But kind of feels like we should go lower. Man, I don't know. It's tough. What do you guys think? I think I'll just leave it at this for now. I will reevaluate this in the morning. This could be totally wrong, but Right now, I don't know. Okay. I want to have this be the 4-hour chart, but I want to show the inversion, so. Okay, that looks good. Okay, I think we are good for journaling for today. I will try and get a market recap out today. Hopefully. Yeah. If I don't,